Hello and welcome to weekly yoga flow here on Marie Green Yoga YouTube channel. And today the weekly yoga flow will be post-hike flow. So you are probably clicking on this class because maybe you did a hike, a walk, maybe you did a run, and you need to stretch your legs and just really kind of decompress from sometimes hiking when we feel kind of like everything shrinks together as we go up the hill or maybe down the hill. So the focus on this class is to open the legs and certainly the spine as well, and the chest. So there will be not much flow in the very first part of the class. It will be a lot of legs. And we're just going to start right there and then we'll come to the flowy part later. And it will be a nice opening for legs, spine, and hips. You might need a strap. I'm going to use a strap and I will most likely use my blocks as well. So let's head on down on our backs and we'll start right there. And put the feet on each side of your yoga mat and your arms out to the side. Press the head, adjust the shoulder blades. And just take a couple of breaths right here. Maybe you have your favorite music playing. Maybe it's quiet. Maybe you're listening to birds. Who knows? Anything that makes your practice feels really good. Let's take the right knee in the center and the left knee out to the side and start to move in towards hip flexors and quads. Really just to kind of change the frequencies of compressing with walking, and then we'll come into lengthening with our yoga practice. And it's like we can have a kind of a focus on taking all of that good energy from a hike or a run or a walk and making more space for the body by doing our yoga practice together today. That's what I'm doing. That's my focus today. I hope you are feeling like you're joining me for that. We'll do one more right side towards the left, and then we'll come up and over with the left knee to the center, and then the right over to the right. Nice. And then from here, we're going to take that right knee into the chest and stretch your left leg forward. And just gently hold it here. And most likely you feel something in the front left quad and hopefully in your right hip. It's a nice plugging the femur in, hugging, and releasing into the lower back. Maybe you pull the lower belly in and the tailbone goes down towards that inner left heel. And then we'll switch to the second side. Take the left leg in and hugging it. And just lengthen the right leg just gently out in front. And we'll take some nice deep breaths right here. And then let's release the left leg. Stretch your arms over your head. Exhale, take the hands to the sides and find your strap. If you don't have a strap, a scarf, or maybe you have one of those plastic exercise bands or something that can help you to hold on to your right foot. So we'll start with the right foot into the center of the strap. And then from here, feed the hands over the head. Separate that strap and take your arms in a nice straight direction, long side body from your hips to your shoulders to your wrists. And then maybe that left leg stretches out as well. Now, if you did a strenuous hike, you'll feel this in your calves, in your hamstrings. You feel it in the side body, and you might feel it into your spine too. So maybe we're here to just kind of undo anything that feels tight. We'll take a couple of nice deep breaths here. And we'll stay one more breath, pressing out through the mounds of the big toes. And gently switch. You can relax your arms and take the left leg up into the center of the strap and into the center of the left foot. Take your right foot down, stretch your arms over your head, long side body. Pull the belly in, lengthen the whole spine and stretch the right leg all the way out in front. Press the mounds of the big toes away from each other. And get some nice good length in towards your left hamstrings, into your left calf, side body long, hips to shoulders, shoulders to wrists, and from there also we're plugging everything in. Stay one more breath. And saturate the whole back of the leg. And then take the arms to the side, take your strap away and put it to the side. We'll use it soon again. Take your feet on each side of the mat, right knee down in the center, and the left knee down to the center. Windshield wiper one more time, side to side. Checking in to see how hip flexors and quads, lower belly is doing. Feet flat, find your block. If you don't have a block, maybe take a pillow or a blanket, that works well as well. Come up on your toes, put the block on the flattest level underneath your hip. So with hip, I mean the sacrum, the bottom plate at the very base of the spine. So it's not on your lower back, not on the kidneys, just simply onto that plate on your lower back. Take your right knee in and stretch your left leg forward. And we'll just come back to what we just did, but with the block. Actively spreading your toes and hugging your right knee in. And there's a different kind of frequency and wavelength in towards the left hip flexor right here. You can gently pull your right knee in and gently stretch your left leg out. And we'll take 3 breaths right here. So even this is called YogaFlow, and maybe you feel like we're not flowing so much right now, but it certainly is flowing within the muscles, and it's certainly flowing within the energy inside of us, and especially around the hips and the hip flexors right now. So we're still doing YogaFlow, not just very big movements. And switch to the second side. Take your left knee in, right leg forward. Hugging your left knee in, spreading your toes, activating your legs, stretching in towards your right hip flexors, your right quad. You can simply just hang out here, or you can pull your belly in and get a little bit more active stretching. It certainly will stretch either way. And it will release in towards lower back by stretching the hip flexors, the large muscle that holds the upper and the lower body together, and that we use a lot when we hike. Hip flexors, hamstrings, quads, lower backs, abs, all of that. And then slowly release. And we'll switch and take the strap again into the right foot. And stretching the right leg up, feeding the hands over the head, long side body, and hands comes towards the floor. It sometimes depends on what length you have on your strap. Sometimes the strap is not long. It's the 8-foot one, then maybe the hands are up here. But if you have the longer strap, take your arms over the head and get a nice, big, full leg stretch. Pull the ribs in, stretch your arms over your head. And get nice and deep in towards the left hip flexor area, within a comfort zone. But you're probably here to address hip flexors if you click on a post-hike YogaFlow class. We'll stay one more breath here. Certainly can feel it in the whole back of the right leg. And then switch sides. Take your left foot into the strap and put your right foot down. Stretch your arms over your head, stretch your leg, right leg forward, and here we are on the block and getting into a little bit more detailed hip flexor stretch, a little bit more into the left hamstring layers. We'll stay another 3 breaths here. Few more breaths. And then release the strap, bend your right knee, take the strap to the side. We won't be using it again for the whole class. So let's just put it to the side and let it be kind of there. Come up onto the toes, bend the knees, and take the block away and put it to the side. Take the feet flat, take the hands on the base of your femurs and push the femurs away and release into the lower belly. And from here, take your feet all the way together and we'll come into figure 4 with our right ankle over the left knee and hands underneath the hamstrings. If you had a big hike and your hips are tight, you might keep your left foot down. Maybe that's plenty, so see what works for you. Maybe hands underneath the left quad, hamstring layers, or maybe the hands interlaced below your knee. You can activate your feet, sacrum down. Give ourselves a few more breaths right here. Should be a nice stretching towards the right lower back, the right rotators. We'll stay one more breath right here. Well, there's some magic going on in towards the rotators and probably IT band on the right side. From here, take your left foot down, and we're going to keep the same shape on the right leg. We're going to take the left foot over to the right sit bone, and the right knee, the right foot comes down. So the left foot is by the right sit bone, and the right foot is by the left knee. And then the arms can come up and over. And here's quite the quad stretch on your left side. Adductors, hip flexor, and the seat is all the way down. The sacrum is all the way down as best as we can. And to stay here for 3 breaths. It's a hip flexor release. It is like a stacking kind of like a fire log pose, but the legs are certainly not on top and below each other. Some of you might have dropped the right leg down. Most of us are having the right foot flat down and the right knee is facing straight up. And we're working with getting our sacrum all the way on the floor. We'll stay one more breath here. And then slowly coming back to our figure 4 and releasing hands, taking the knee in. One more stretch right here. And then take the right knee over the left knee, hands on each side of the ankle, upward facing Gomukhasana pose with our feet towards the outer edges of the legs, towards the hips. And you can give yourself a nice little anchoring in with hands around the ankles, squeezing, breathing, keeping the flow going on the inner layers of the body. And then gently release the left foot down, arms out to the side. Press the head, adjust the shoulder blades underneath you. Press your left foot and take your left hip to the floor for a twist, supine twist. If it's too much with knee over knee, then simply just stack the knees above and below each other. Stay another breath here. And gently release the legs and come up to the center. Press the feet, sacrum down. Place the hands on the base of the femurs and push your femurs away from you. Release the lower back. Get into finding space for femurs to kind of open up so that there's a clear pathway when we let go of the hands for the femurs to root in. Let's bring the feet back together and take figure 4 onto the second side. with your left ankle over your right knee, and maybe the right foot stays down, or maybe you take your leg up and then just full release into the right leg and focusing on into the left rotators and hip flexor and IT band area. Left side stretch. Hands by hamstrings or hands below the knees. Just taking some nice sweet time to open up legs and hips after your hike, after your walk, or just maybe simply clicking on this class to get a good leg stretching. We'll stay another breath right here. And releasing releasing the right foot down, and then put the right foot over to the left hip, to the sit bone, to the outer place of the hip, around that area, and then dropping your right knee down, but your left foot is outside your right knee and your left knee is up to the sky. So you're still in a figure 4 mode. You have just kind of tipped and pulled your right foot in. Now this is certainly a lot for the hip flexor on the right side. It's IT band, it's adductors, it's really all of the whole right side. Your arms can come up and over your head, lengthening. So it's a tipped over figure 4 hip flexor adjuster for lower backs, for sacrum. Just taking some time to hang out right here. We'll stay another breath. And then we'll hold on to our abdominals, release the arms back to the leg area and your right foot flat, back to figure 4, take the leg in, or keep the foot flat on the floor. See where your lower back and where your hips want to take you. And then take the right leg down, come to Gomukhasana with your hands around your ankles, ankles out towards the sides of the hips. IT band on the left side, and we're certainly squeezing the adductors to the midline. So you might feel this a little bit everywhere. You can put some pressure onto those ankles if needed and really kind of tune in to the outside of the left leg. We'll stay another breath here. And take the left foot down, arms out to the side. Press your right foot and lift your hips and come over onto your right hip and tip over to the right side with the knees for supine twist. Twisting the organs, releasing lower back, IT band. Stay one more breath. And releasing the legs and taking it all the way back up. Feet flat, lift your sacrum flat onto the back. We'll do one more, hands on the base of our femurs, and then bring the knees into the chest. We'll stay for 2 more versions here. So happy baby pose with your knees towards your shoulders and your feet up towards the sky. Maybe clear some space around you for leg stretches from here. We're going to take the right leg out to the side and take like a sideways, one straight leg on the right, and the left leg is still in happy baby pose. And then we'll bring it back up and take the left leg out for a straighter version like a side lying happy baby, right leg bent, left leg straight. And then we'll bring it back in, and then we'll do that one more time. Maybe the right hand is feeding over towards the ankle or towards the leg. And bring it back in, and the left leg out to the side. And then we anchor into happy baby, both legs, and then we'll anchor in to both legs straight. Untying knots from our hike in hamstrings, in adductors, really the whole back of the leg. Sacrum down, spread the toes, and then bring your knees back in. Take your hands underneath your knees, legs together, and we're going to roll it all the way up, cross the ankles, and we are finally coming up from our backs onto all fours. Tabletop. Your legs should feel nice and awake. Lower back should feel awake. Let's arch the spine up to the sky. Toes down. And inhale, exhale, upper arm bones in. Extend through the side body. And exhale, press the hands, the knees, the toes, big wide back body. And again, it should feel easy to kind of move the spine after releasing the legs. Top of the head to the floor. And inhale, exhale. And then we'll come to neutral spine. Still plugging the upper arm bones in, tucking the toes, and come to your downward facing dog. Taking the right heel down, and we'll give it some attention and stay here for a little while. Stretching the whole back of the ankle, calf on the right side. Push the hands away. And switch second side. Take your left heel down. Stretching towards your left Achilles, your left calf. Come up on your right toes. Have a nice even feeling from hips to shoulders. And then we'll come up onto the toes. Have your feet hip widths apart, if not outer hip widths apart. Bend your knees. This is where we pull the femurs kind of forward and away from the hips, and we're grounding them in, and then from here, sink the heels down. Full anchoring in towards the torso. Press the palms, lift the upper arm bones. Come to plank pose. Shoulders and wrists are stacked. Super strong. Strong into your core, strong into biceps and triceps, strong into the quads. And then from here, lower all the way down to the belly. Widen your hands, widen your legs. Come into your cobra, inner shoulder to outer shoulder. Maybe do a little swaying cobra side to side. Check the side body, check the spine, check the shoulders, and exhale, bring it all the way back down. Hands by shoulders, come to child's pose, please. Big toes together, knees apart. Tabletop, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take your feet all the way together, then sweep your right leg up to the sky. Heel to horizon, and maybe there's an encouragement from your glutes to lift the leg a little higher up. Step your right foot between your hands, left knee down to the floor. Sweep your arms up to the sky for Anjasana, low lunge. Should feel pretty easy to come in here. If it was a big hike, you still are feeling a lot. We'll just keep on kind of winding up our yarn and untying the knots, making it all nice and clear and lined up. Exhale, release, hands to the floor. Step back to your down dog. Come to your plank, please. Shoulders and wrists are stacked. Lower all the way down. Inhale to cobra. Inner shoulder to outer shoulder. And exhale, take it back down. Push back to child's pose. Big toes together. Knees apart. Make your way to tabletop, to down dog. Bring your feet together. Sweep your left leg up towards the horizon. Hug the midline. If your core supports you, take your leg up however you'd like to, so it's comfortable. Left foot between the hands, right knee to the floor. Inhale, Anjasana, arms up to the sky. Untie knots in your right quad. Lower back should feel pretty good right now. I hope that you had a good experience on the floor and got to open up your compressed, maybe compressed spine from hiking. I'm hoping that's why you're here, to decompress. Exhale, take your hands to the floor and step it back to down dog. Pull the belly in, come to plank pose, shoulders and wrists are stacked, and lower all the way down. Inhale to cobra, widen your legs, give yourself some space in your lower back, and exhale, bring it back down, push back, child's pose, big toes together, knees apart. Make your way all the way up, tabletop, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Anchor in towards your heels, anchor into your calves. Take it from your core, pull the belly in, and from the belly, from the abdominals, extend out to the legs, extend out through the arms. And it's like binding the ribs, knitting everything together in the core helps us to extend through the layers in the back of the legs and into the whole back body. Strong arms. The hands, yeah, they're down, but they're lifting up. We'll stay one more breath and then step your right foot between the hands. Or maybe it's your left foot to face each other, wherever you're at. Tuck the toes in. Come to feet wide apart. Prasarita Padottanasana. Now we have a slight internal rotation on the legs to really line up the back muscles onto the legs and certainly the spine too. We'll stay right here and do some shoulder push-ups and check and see how that feels for the legs. See how that feels for the shoulders. See how it feels for the whole posterior body. Use your abdominals to move, and then we'll come into a neutral space. Take your right hand in the center. Let's come up on the fingertips to give ourselves a little space. Take your left hand to your sacrum and check and see that your sacrum is nice and flat. Twist and turn, micro bend into the knees, and then take your left arm up for a nice even twist from your right hand, fingers all the way up to your left. Like a nice clear transmission, twisting and turning the spine, and definitely having to pay some extra attention to adductors. And then exhale, bring it back down and switch second side. Left fingers or palm down, take your right hand to your sacrum, make sure your sacrum stays nice and even. Stay here, and then take your right arm up to the sky. Twist and turn your organs, twist and turn your lumbar, your middle back, your upper back, and holding on to the midline with your inner edges of the feet hugging, and then exhale, take it back down. From here, take your heel of the hands aligned with the heel of the feet. Arch your spine. We're just going to access all of those leg stretches we did on the floor. We access them by hugging together and taking the head either to a block or to the floor. Adjusting accordingly. We certainly are not pushing ourselves. We're just kind of melting into the back of the legs. Top of the head is driving down. It can be on a block, it can be on the floor. Making sure that you are right within your comfort zone. You might feel it in your calves, in your hamstrings, in your hips. We'll stay another 3 breaths here to really open up in towards into the hiking calves. Whatever activity you did that brought you here for this class. And slowly stretch your arms and come to the front of the mat. I'm moving towards my blocks because I'm going to bring in my blocks. Maybe you will too. Let's press the palms and lift the upper arm bones. I'm going to come down to my knees, and I invite you to do the same, to bring our blocks to each side of the mat. And then we have them all organized right here. And from there you can place your hands on the blocks and take the heel of the hand kind of at the edge of the block, depending on what kind of blocks you have. Sometimes these ones are a little slippery, so I like to put my heel of my hand right at the base, and then a thumb on the inside and a pinky on the outside, and gripping the block. Downward facing dog from there. This way I have a little bit less pressure onto the shoulders. And we can maybe move and scoot the legs a little further back and check and see how it feels. Feet hip widths apart. Use your intercostal layers and bring your rib cage. Knit the ribs together so you feel plugged into the front side. Step your right foot between the hands and we'll stay nice and low from here. I'll just hang out here for a moment and check and see how it feels for that left quad. Did a lot of strides. And then slowly take your right heel down, your left toes up. Knit your ribs together and fold forward. And then we'll bend it all the way back down. And exhale, heel down, toes up. And again, take it all the way down. And extend. Nice. And then we'll take it all the way down. Take your back knee to the floor and flatten your foot out and come to low lunge or dragon pose. We're just going to stay right here and stretch into our quad. One more breath and then exhale. Fold forward over and extend your right leg and fold over your right leg. Hands can stay on the block. Press the palms, lift the upper arm bones. And gently make your way back to your dragon pose. Tuck the toes for your low lunge and then step back to down dog. If you don't have blocks, don't even worry about it. It works well without blocks too. It just kind of helps to lift the torso and make our upper body and arms as long as our legs. Step your left foot between the hands and we'll stay all the way down right here. Take a little pause and extend into the back leg. Check and see how the quad is doing. Pull your left hip back so that your hips are nice and even facing forward. And extend your left leg, heel down, toes up, head towards the knee. And then we'll bring it back down. Inhale and exhale, just detailing into our legs, into our back body, making sure that we're really feeling all the muscles that are helping us to plug in. And inhale and exhale. And slowly bring it all the way back down. Take your back knee down and extend and flatten your back foot out. Dragon pose with support, so we're not fully just dropping ourselves forward. We're definitely supporting ourselves with hands on the blocks and active legs, active toes, active stretching. And then from here, we'll sail on back into reclining dragon pose or reclining runner's lunge with knitted ribs together, active front body, and taking the head towards the knee. Expanding the back body. Few more breaths right here. And then gently coming back to the dragon version, tucking the back toes under, extending the back leg, and stepping back to downward facing dog. From here, come up on your toes, bend your knees, and then from here we'll give ourselves 3 shoulder push-ups. Checking to see that our shoulders are nice and even and stretched out. From here, come to down dog, come to your plank pose. Shoulders and wrists are stacked, lower down to your chaturanga. Roll to the front of your toes and come to up dog. Should be a nice opening for your shoulders, for your spine. You can move a little bit back and forth here. And then exhale, come back to downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Step your left foot forward, or any foot that faces us together. You can take the blocks to the side and come all the way forward. From here, take your peace fingers around your big toes, and we get to open up a little bit in the shoulders after having them facing forward and onto blocks. Take your elbows to the side, hold on to the big toes, and take the top of the head towards the floor. Release the shoulders. Let the breath move through any tight parts. And then slowly bringing it all the way back up and come to downward facing dog. Step it back. Mindfully take a breath through all parts of the body. And come to plank pose. Shoulders and wrists are stacked. Lower all the way down. Inhale to cobra. Widen your legs. I'm hoping that what you came for is starting to kind of soak all the way up. That the hike, the walk, the run is kind of starting to find all kinds of layers where it can go to in a nice open way from practicing yoga after big toes together, knees apart. This should be a nice opening for the lower back right here. So we're going to stay here for 3 breaths. Press the palms, lift the upper arm bones, pull the belly button in, an active child's pose, expansiveness into the whole back body. Untying knots of compression in the whole spine, making sure that the spine gets a nice opening. And then slowly come to all fours, and we're going to set the blocks out for a supported back bend, because hiking up mountains or running or jogging on pathways tightens up also the front sometimes. So let's undo some of that by taking one block right at the bottom of the shoulder blades, and then taking, so the shoulder blades are not on the block. We have the upper middle back, that's right there. So the shoulder blades are kind of hugging into the block, but they're not on it. And then we have the head onto the block, and the legs can be bent, the feet can be bent, the arms can be to the side. And see how that feels. Maybe that feels good. Maybe you stretch your legs out. Maybe that's a different feeling. Just kind of a decompressing any sort of congestion, anything that feels like it compressed us. That's what we are doing yoga for today. We're untangling it. Now, if the block here feels great, hang out, stay here. Maybe there will be some spontaneous adjustments in the spine. Maybe some of you will take the block to a different level and plugging it down a little bit further and taking the back of the head on it and staying here. Maybe you'll take the block all the way away, and maybe the hand stays behind. If there's something in the upper middle back that you'd like to work out, then take your hands right behind the head and maybe help the head and the hands down towards the floor for fish pose with the block right below the shoulder blades, right into the upper middle back. Hug the shoulder blades down onto your block. Stay here, one more breath, and then slowly help our way up. Take the hands to the side and bring yourself up. There's not much of a graceful way to make our way up from there. Let's take the blocks to the side. And we have Urdhva Dhanurasana, and then we have some forward bends to make sure that we have touched all nook and crannies in our body. From here, we're going to take our hands up and over. So, option is to take a block underneath your sacrum or follow along for the different variations. I like to just stretch the arms nice and tall and pull the belly button in and have the whole spine onto the mat and engage the core. And then from here, take the hands to each side of the mat, holding on to your mat. I like to have my ankles underneath my knees, press the head, adjust the shoulder blades, and then from there, making my way up to Setubandha Sarvangasana or bridge pose. Nice open neck. I hope your quads feels open. If there was a big hike or run or walk, then sometimes they certainly can use hours of stretching. But maybe this is helping. I hope so. We'll stay right here for one more breath. And then we'll take it back down. And from here, you can either do exactly that, or take a block underneath, or we'll take Urdhva Dhanurasana, arms over the head, stretch the side body long, pull the belly in, take the hands by the shoulders, pinky towards the edge of the mat, fingers and toes are facing the same direction. From here, pull the belly in today and expand the back body, plug the front body and abdominals in for support. And then from there, press hands and feet, come to the top of the head, pull the upper arm bones in. I'm going to walk my hands in and press the hands and come up on my toes and celebrate our practice into a Urdhva Dhanurasana. And stay here and take a couple of breaths. And check and see how it feels in all the areas. And then gently tuck the head in, the chin in, come to the back of the head and make your way all the way back down. Feet flat, come back with the hands on top of the femurs, right at the base of the femurs, or the start of the femurs. And gently release lower back, or find space for the lower back, of putting all the new wired muscles in its perfect place. Knees into the chest, hug it all the way in. Hands underneath the knees, roll it up, cross at your ankles, downward facing dog. Press the hands, lift the upper arm bones. This will be a forward bend after what just happened. Definitely a nice, comfortable forward bend. Your job is to pull the belly in here and then extend out through the legs and through the arms. Take your feet to the hands. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold. You have some options here of staying here, taking hands on blocks, or taking hands to the elbows, or taking hands to your feet. You can take your peace fingers to your big toes. You can take your palms fully under. We have like a free choice today of forward bends. Top of the head to the floor, pull your shoulders up and away. We'll stay one more breath right here. Place the hands next to your feet. Plank pose, please. Come to your belly. Inhale to cobra. Inner shoulder to outer shoulder. Exhale, bring it back down. Tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Come up on your toes. Bend your knees. Take a walk or a hop. Feet to hands. Inhale, long spine. And then from here, we're going to make our way into Malasana with your toes slightly turned out and feet out hip widths apart. And then we're going to come down. If you needed to, you put a blanket or something underneath your feet. We'll release that lower back a little bit more. I'm not sure what kind of hike or jog or walk you did, but please do let me know if you did. And or maybe you're using it just to simply get a good stretch in today. I did a 5-mile up a mountain and back down. So sometimes hiking makes me compressed, and I certainly need to stretch it out afterwards in a nice yogic and a nice sequence kind of way. I hope this is helping you as well. Lovely to be outside and get all of that nature, and then but it's also lovely to open up the layers so we can sip all of that nature into the body for healing. Keep your right hand down and take your left hand to your knee and twist and turn. Left arm up to the sky. And exhale, bring it back down. Switch sides, left hand to the floor, right hand to the knee. Twist and turn. Take your right arm up to the sky. Malasana twist. And exhale, take it back down. Then we're going to tip ourselves all the way down and stretch your legs forward. For Paschimottanasana, you can put a block between the knees and put your head on the block if you so wish. We can take the arms up, heels down, spread the toes, pull the belly in, and hinge and fold forward. This might be where you actually will bring your strap back in and take your strap for your hands and your feet if it feels like the legs are too far away. So use what works. Maybe the head comes to the block. Maybe it comes to the floor. Maybe, hopefully, it comes somewhere where it's very comfortable. Elbows out to the side. Paschimottanasana. Like a full back body stretch. We'll stay one more breath right here. Take a breath into all of the whole spine, like all of the spine, all of the vertebrae, all of the layers of the hamstring, all of the layers of the lower back. And slowly come up to a comfortable seat. Maybe we'll sit on a block to make sure that our knees gets to release comfortably down below and hip flexors gets to relax by having the knees below the hips. Sitting on a block or a blanket, we can take the thumb and the index together for a nice circulatory, grounding, mindful, intuitive mudra. Sitting nice and tall. Calming the breath down. Calming the layers down. And gently from here, bringing our hands together in front of the heart. We close our practice with Lokah, Samastah, Sukhino, Bhavantu, Om, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. There should be a text below where you can follow along. Peace for all beings everywhere. Peace for our heart, peace for our mind, peace for our body. Peace to all realms. We do our part and send out some nice peace from our heart to everybody else's heart. We'll start with an Om if you'd like to join me. We'll take a nice comfortable inhale. Lokah Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And slowly release the hands down. And I'm going to suggest a Shavasana with the legs up the wall, or maybe you have a chair nearby. You can bend your knees over the chair, over your couch, over your bed, wherever you might be. I'm going to turn my Shavasana upside down today and restore the legs after our practice and after our hike. So I'll see you in the next class. Have a good time bringing your legs upward and restore legs, restore circulatory system and the organs and the blood flow. If you are legs up the wall, snug your seat bones all the way up to the wall, and then sacrum is down, shoulder blades are down, arms are out to the side. Namaste. You just stay here as long as you feel like it's serving your legs to be turned upward. Staying here to calm the nervous system. Staying here to reverse the flow of the legs. The toes are usually a good indicator when it's time to take the legs down, so the toes will tell you. Stay as long as you like. Thank you for joining. Namaste.